السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we are continuing in Surah Al-Baqarah. And we are within the ayat, still the ayat of sadaqah and spending in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we talked about how this is a subject that is coming close to the end of the surah, and it is the completion of the foundations that a society needs to be built on throughout the surah, the directions and the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of how to build a society, an individual and a society. And last time we talked about those who are not apparently looking like those who are needy, and how it is recommended to investigate about them, not to investigate, to find them, so you could help them, because you cannot recognize them as one who needs help. We talked about nadhr, and there was a discussion about nadhr last time. Just to say one word, about it quickly, that in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the mother of Maryam alayhi salam, when she made, or the wife of Imran, she made an oath, a nadhr. قالت رب إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا. She said, my Lord, I made a nadhr, that which is my tummy in my womb, in your way, Ya Allah, for you, Ya Allah. Meaning, she thought that she will have a boy, and she will be whatever it is that she will deliver, to be taught and to be serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the places of worship and so forth. The point is, this is another that is of course acceptable, because this is another about something that she did not have yet, right? Another about when she gets the child, then she will put the child in the way of Allah. Okay, that is, it's not something about something she has holding back, and she's not going to let go of it unless she gets what she is asking for. That is the difference. Like the one that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam tells us, that the one who has the knowledge but does not have the money, he looks at the one that has the money and the knowledge, and he's spending the money in the way of Allah. The second one, he says, who has the knowledge and no money, he said, if I have money, that's another, right? If I have money, okay, like this person, may Allah give me even more money, and when I have the money, I will spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he's making another of something that he does not have yet. He's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it, and when he receives it, he will put it in the way of Allah. So this has a condition, but it's not a condition of something that you already have. You're not going to let go of it. Wallahu a'lam. So inshallah, we'll continue in the ayat of nafaqah, inshallah. Do you have microphone?
I do.
Okay.
Once we get to use it.
Okay. Yes.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. للفقراء, right? للفقراء الذين أحصروا في سبيل.
The one after it.
One after that. الذين ينفقون أموالهم بالليل والنهار سرا وعلانية فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس، ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا، فمن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله ومن عاد فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
Those who spend their wealth in charity day and night, needy, secretly and openly, their reward is with their Lord, and there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve. Those who consume interest will stand like those driven to madness by Satan's touch. That is because they say trade is no different than interest. But Allah has permitted trading and forbidden interest. Whosoever refrains after having received warnings from their Lord may keep their previous gains, and their case is left to Allah. As for those who persist, it is they who will be residents of the fire, they will be there forever.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends up the ayat of nafaqah by summarizing it. Okay, those who are spending from their wealth in the way of Allah at night and in the day, in secret and in the open, okay, they have their ajr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if this ayah was not said, then what was said before, it seems to be sufficient. All these ayat before. But here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this subject again an ending of making it, a summary, and giving the reward that is again is repeated many times, and the reward that it's a condition that once you realize it, you feel and you know that this is a bounty, that there is no other bounty that seems to be like it. So it is before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the reward is such, like you have a seed, you'll get so many seeds on this earth, right? So when you spend in the way of Allah, the reward is multiple, and and so forth. So there is this physical descriptions here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us. And the one who loses his garden and has children small and he is old and so forth. But here is not something, an item. Allah says this is, you do this will happen in a way of physical reward, but it is a concept Again, this concept, there is no fear and no grief. This is a powerful concept because it is, again, it is a realization in a moment of time that you are blessed and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with you. When you have safety and have no fear, right? So no fear in the future and no regret in the past. So you have safety in this moment and you trust that Allah forgiven everything and you trust that Allah is protecting your future. This is again a concept that you realize it when you know the attributes of Allah. And when you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that أَنَا عِنْدَ ظَنَّ عَبْدِي بِي, I am what my servants thinks of me or expect from me. So if this expectation is there, then that is a bounty that is plentiful for a human being. So again, it is not physical, it's a realization of a condition that you are in, and a past and a future. Okay. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the warnings of what not to do with the wealth. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us before of when we are spending in the way of Allah, what we shouldn't do, right? Talking about it, showing off, talking to the people that we are giving wealth to or giving charity to, and remind them with it and so forth. But now this is a matter of riba, which is a matter of a prohibition. And it is no other warnings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put on the Quran, such a warning that is on those who are dealing with riba. The word riba itself is not a bad word. It means literally increase. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within this ayat will use the word riba in a different way, in a positive way. But so the riba is increase. But when it is talked about in by itself like this, in the context of money, that means it is negative. It is something that is prohibited to deal with. Okay, so what is riba? Riba is an increase, an unlawful increase. Okay, an unlawful increase. So it's an increase in a way that is prohibited. You can seek increase in your wealth, but not in this way. If you increase it, try to increase it in an unlawful way, it's called riba. And basically it is using money as a product. Okay, I'm going to go through it quickly, inshallah, to try to summarize this, inshallah, that if you look at the items that we deal with, either food items or things to be consumed, that's one category, or money, okay, athman, thaman, something itself, it does not benefit you unless you use it to purchase. It has a purchase power. Okay, so it is silver, gold and silver, if you will. But nowadays you say dollars and pounds and so forth. Okay, so if you have a category of food and a category of money. Okay, so the category of food, what is prohibited in it? Bilal radiallahu anhu came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he has a container of dates. Okay, a couple of containers of dates. And it's not the dates of Medina. It's not the dates that is familiar around. It's not a good kind. It's not the excellent kind. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Bilal, how did you get this? He said, Ya Rasulullah, I had one saw, one container, one measure of the dates, of the good dates, went to the market, and I exchanged these dates with two of the same measure from these dates. Okay, so I exchanged this for that. One for two, one good and two less quality. Rasulullah ﷺ said, this is the riba. This is the riba. You do not do this. He said, Ya Rasulullah, so what do I do? Rasulullah ﷺ said, you take the date, the good date, sell it. And then with the money, buy the other one. Okay? So now, the rule here is what? If it is similar, then it has to be measure by measure. If it is dates, a measure of date, then when you exchange it with somebody, you exchange it with the same measure of date. The measure does not change. Okay? If you have a measure of rice, okay, you exchange it with another measure of rice, but you cannot change it with a different volume. It has to be the same. Okay? And it has to be hand by hand. It has to be hand by hand. You cannot say, I'm going to take this rice from you, okay, and tomorrow I'll give you, a container of rice. That is borrowing. Okay, that is something else. That's borrowing. It's not buying and selling. It's not a deal of buying and selling. If you want to exchange on time, hand by hand, mithl by mithl, mithlu bil mithl, volume by volume, the same equal volume, and hand by hand right away. Okay? Okay, what about if it is the product that is different? That is different, meaning rice for dates. Then it is the volume does not have to be the same now because it is not the same item. So you have dates and I have a rice and we can negotiate. I give you one rice for 3 days. You say no, only 2 days, and you negotiate. But it's still hand by hand because it is from the same category of food, right? Same category. So it's still by hand. We cannot delay the transaction, but it could be different in volume. Okay. So now we know this column. The other column is similar. You deal with it the same way. I have gold, you have gold. I'm going to give you 2 ounces, you give me 2 ounces back. I cannot give you 2 ounces and I take 3 ounces from you. And you tell me this is quality and that is quality. No, it is gold or it's, no. It has to be the same. Okay, and it has to be hand by hand. What about if you have silver and I have gold? Then the amount is different now. So we can negotiate what is for what. But because it is in the same category, it has to be hand by hand. But no time lapses. Okay? And now we can measure this with dollars and pounds and all of this. Whatever it is that you use it to purchase with has a purchase power. Now, what about if both, you're dealing with one category with the other? You have money, you have gold, you have silver, and you're buying dates. Now, everything is open now, meaning that you can negotiate the volume as you wish, and you can delay the payment as well. You can say, I'm going to take it now and I'll pay you later. It is okay. Okay? That's what it is. Okay, of course, there are other things that goes into this, but this is a very basic premise. Okay, very basic premise. Because if you are giving you dollar and take dollar from you back, and changing the amount, I give you $10 and I'll get it back, $12. That is now I'm selling money. I'm selling money. The power of purchasing power. I'm dealing with it as a way of product, and that is riba. Okay. So now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made these transactions are haram. That is, riba is haram. And saying, to those who are saying, why? What? You give it back?
You just said that is,
If somebody give $10 and
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
the back $12,
Yeah.
$2 they get extra, that's the riba, right?
Yes.
one more time.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. You are buying and selling money now, right? You are putting the dollar instead of dates, right? Okay. You're saying I'm purchasing from you, okay, or giving you $10, and I'm going to take it from you $12. So I'm selling the money. I'm selling the $10 for 12, right? Taking more than what I'm giving. It is athman, but you can, if you dealing with dollars and pounds, you can do that, right? You can do that. You can. That's what they call exchange money, right? Because the pound has a different value than the dollar. So you can exchange that. But dollar for dollar or pound for pound, it has to be same by same at the same time handling it. Which you don't do that. Why would you, if you have a dollar already, why would you give it up and take another dollar? So is that okay? Okay. So now قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا. They say buying and selling just like riba. Okay? Another word, we're making a deal, I'm giving you a product, I'm giving you a product, I'm making a deal. That's buying and selling. We go to the athman, okay, the dollars, the purchasing power, and do the same thing. That's buying and selling. Okay? Of course, the answer is, of course, it is not. And how will it affect the economy? How those who have wealth, then they will abuse those who do not, and all of this, right? But instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about all of this, that's not the issue. The issue is Allah made it haram. That is the issue. Okay, so what is the answer? أحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. That is the difference. Allah made buying and selling halal and made riba haram. That is the difference. That's it. Okay? So, as we were saying before, Aisha radiallahu anha, when she was asked by the women, okay, they asked her, "Oh Aisha, when we have the menses, we do not make the prayer that we miss during the time of the menses, but we make the fast that we miss during the time of menses." They're taking it with what makes sense, right? How come this? Why do we do this? And don't do that. Okay. So Aisha radiallahu anha, as a faqihah, okay, has a fiqh, she said, because at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we were told that when we have the menses and we have to make up when we're fasting, we break the fast and then make it up. But with the salah, we do not pray and don't make it up. That's what it is. In other words, this is what the command is given. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made riba haram. Okay? That's all there is to it. Okay? So the one who now hears this and says, Astaghfirullah, I did not know, I'm going to get rid of this and finalize everything that he has and clean up his wealth by stopping, if he's involved in these processes, stops it and takes his wealth, his capital, if you will, and so forth, and says no more. Okay, but then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, but the one who goes back now, why would he go back? He knows it is haram and he stopped it. If you go back to this, or you know it is haram and continue with this, then hellfire is for you. There is no, okay, that's so powerful. Khalas, it is done. Because now, with your knowledge, and you know it is prohibited, and you're still going on in it, okay, then you are either insisting on committing the sin, or worse than that, because you're going back, worse than that is you saying that is okay. And that's evil now. That is the core of evil. That Allah says haram and you say halal. Okay. Once this is the attitude, there is actually, it's a way out of Islam. Because you are making up a rule different than the rules of Allah. You're rejecting, not being a disobedient. There's a difference between being a disobedient and a rejection of the law. Adam alayhi salam was disobedient and he was forgiven. Shaitan refused the law and he was cursed. Okay? Both of them committed a mistake, committed a sin. But it's the difference between the sin of desire and the sin of rejection. Okay? So, وَمَنْ عَادَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. They are going to be, those who go back, they're going to be in hellfire and they are dwelling in it forever. Okay? And by the way, the Islamic banking now is becoming very popular. Okay, and because the non-Islamic banking is not working well, and it has all the difficulties in it now and so forth, and all the filth that is shown in it, and the harm, and because Muslims, have is a market. It's a market in the world, and the more we say we're not going to deal with riba, the more that those banking systems that deal with riba want to accommodate us. Okay? And actually find many European banking now as dealing without riba. Okay? And have system borrowing and so forth without interest and all of that to accommodate our ways. Okay? They are very good at quickly changing things to accommodate the market. And we are slow in this because of many reasons. But the studies that's made by seculars who knows money, they tell you that it is the way of justice, okay, and not to abuse and so forth, is to bring the interest rate to zero and figure out way to make money rather than from money. It is from partnership, from investing, whatever it is. In other words, the haram is limited and the halal is so much. Okay? And that is in all matters. The halal is so much and the haram is very little. The food that is haram is very little, and the food that is halal is so much. The drink that is haram is little, and the drink that is halal is so much, and on and on and on. Okay? Next, inshallah.
يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات والله لا يحب كل كفار أثيم.
جزاك الله خير.
And Allah has made interest fruitless and charity fruitful. And Allah does not like any ungrateful evildoer.
Yes. So, يمحق الله الربا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth here. One of the sunnah of Allah. That if you deal with riba, your wealth will go through mahq, destruction. Okay? But there is one scholar who put it in a beautiful way. He said, this word of mahq is used describing the moon when it goes from the full to decrease to nothing, right? Remember, the moon starts as a crescent, right? And then it starts growing until it becomes a full moon. Then from a full moon to the end of the month, it starts losing part of it, little by little, until it goes to nothing, disappears. That is mahq. We say mahq al-qamar. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the wealth that is you are putting in riba, this is what's going to happen to it. It's going to disappear, eventually go. Now, وَيُرْبِي, that word now is used, riba. وَيُرْبِي الصَّدَقَات. So the sadaqat is going to have riba in it. Riba here meaning it will increase. Tarbu sadaqat. Meaning that the charity, it will increase. Okay. How would that be? This is the sunnah of Allah. Meaning, وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا. You will not find a change to this sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, the one that gives sadaqat, it is like the one who raises his small horse, like a young horse, a baby horse, that you get it and then you feed it, and then eventually it will become a horse that has so much value, right? So it is from so little to something that is everybody wish to have something like it. This is what happened to the sadaqat. Okay? So again, this is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's all around us. Sunnah meaning if you do this, this will happen. If you see this happening, you know that the result is this. There is a payment always and must be paid. There is a payment that will be paid and must be paid. A consequence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to matters. Here is one, that is, you get involved in the riba, the mahq will approach it, and destruction will come to it. And of course, the ayah before is saying, and they will be entering in hellfire. تفضل.
إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Indeed, those who believe, do good, establish prayer, and pay tax, will receive their reward from their Lord, and there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve.
Again, no fear and no grief. This, the great reward that if you capture it in this life, you captured everything. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala putting the sunnah of Allah clearly in front of us, right? There is in general, that's in general. Amanu, okay? Amalu salihat. What is salihat? Good deeds. That is opening the door for anything that we call good deed, right? So you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do the good deeds. Okay. And then there's special good deeds here. There's a condition here. قَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. This is what the society is built upon. Okay? This is what humanity is built upon. That is a relationship between us and Allah, and relationship between each other. That is إقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة. Right? And it is the آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. It is like you know what you are, how you're doing what you're doing, and why you're doing what you're doing. How it has details in it that the Sunnah is given us, right? So it is Muhammad Rasulullah, right? It is a testimony. When you ask yourself, how am I going to do this? And you look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructions, that's you testifying that Muhammadun Rasulullah. And then when you say, why am I doing this? You are going to an internal action. The answer to why is internally. It is the intention. And it has to be in the way of Allah. Then La ilaha illallah has a meaning now. So La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah has to do with the answering why you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing it. Okay? That is amalus salihat with iman. Right? When you have iman, that means when you do the good deeds now, what are you doing it? You're doing it with an intention. Why you're doing it in the way of Allah, how you're doing it according to the Sunnah. So now, amal al-salihat is La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And now, iqam al-salah wa ita' al-zakah. Muslims, anywhere, any place, living as a community, they establish their prayer among them, and they look after each other by making sure that they are financially independent. That is a society that is complete, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came from Mecca to Medina and teaching the companions the iman, al-iman, amanu. And then the details of the salihat in Medina, that is how to came in Medina. And some came in Mecca as well, but mostly in Medina, in a way of implementation. So now here is, the society that is complete society. It is not perfect society, but they had the perfect guidance, right? And we should not be confused in that. Because when you think that, okay, the guidance is perfect, that means people will be perfect. No, that's not it. It is the perfect guidance. Okay, the perfect guidance. Okay. Again, at the end of the ayah, similar that the first ayah we listened to today, it is that gift, that when you are in a position, in an existence, that you have no regrets and you have no fear, you are in Jannah on earth. تفضل.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله وإن تبتم فلكم رؤوس أموالكم لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة وأن تصدقوا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
جزاك الله خير.
O believers, fear Allah and give up outstanding interest if you are believers. If you do not, then beware of a war with Allah and His Messenger. But if you repent, you may retain your principle, neither inflicting nor suffering harm. If it is difficult for someone to repay a debt, postpone it until a time of ease. And if you waive it as an act of charity, it will be better for you if only you knew. Be mindful. Oh, okay.
Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the huge warning here and encourage us to be kind to one another. Now that you know that riba is haram, you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates riba. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving a warning that there is no equal warning to it in the whole Quran, which is فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. That is now be aware that a war is waged on you okay, and you started this war. You started a war against Allah and His Messenger. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, those who deal with the riba, in the day of judgment, go ahead, get your sword. Get your sword. Because there is a war now. And who is you are against? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There is nothing more scary than this. Now, and now if you in tubtum here meaning it is not see if you are involved in riba and you do not know at all, you didn't know this at all, you actually did not commit a sin because you did not refuse. Yes, what you're doing is sinful, but you're not rejecting anything, you're not disobeying anything because you didn't know. Okay? But when you know and you continue in it, but if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the door, it's still for tawbah. The door of tawbah, repentance is open all the time. Okay? So what do? That you decide, then take your capital back and leave the riba. Okay? Let go with the riba, the increase. Let go with the increase and take the capital back. Okay? And you will not commit injustice to yourself or to others. Okay? Now, and if you, when you're dealing with one another, and somebody owes you money, be kind. Be kind. Okay? So do not keep pushing. If there is difficulty and you know that the person is going through difficulties, فَنَظَرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. Wait and give allowance of time until matter or time becomes a better time for them, and they would have the ability to pay you back. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encouraging this relationship of kindness. It is not one that suffocates others in this. Today you are capable, tomorrow you'll be on the other side and you need the help. So help now so you'll be helped later. Okay? And he who eases up a time for his brother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ease a time for him or a difficulty for him in the hereafter. Okay, that is the time when we really want easiness. Right? Now, after all of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the next ayah. And that was the last, according to most of the scholars, this is the last ayah was revealed in the Quran. So imagine now the wahy. Jibreel alayhi salam coming down with this one ayah, and he will never come back to earth with wahy anymore. Okay, that's it. That is the last ayah that's coming down. Imagine you giving advice. You are giving advice to your sons as you are dying. Okay? You are like, Yaqub alayhi salam, إذ قال لبنيه ما تعبدون من بعدي. When إذ حضر يعقوب الموت, when death came to Yaqub alayhi salam. Okay? Then he called his sons and he wants to say the last words. Okay? ما تعبدون من بعد, what do you worship after me, and so forth, advising them toward La ilaha illallah. Okay? وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, for Allah is the best of example. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending us the last ayah of the Quran, an advice. And with the, that is until the day of judgment, there is nothing else will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth. No other advice will come. Go ahead.
واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون. Be mindful of the day when you will all be returned to Allah. Then every soul will be paid in full for what it has done, and none will be wronged.
See how the words, وَاتَّقُوا, protect yourself and be conscious of Allah. Protect yourself from the punishment, that you'll go back to Allah. And then here is tuwaffa, and then kasabat. It is almost talking about money, right? Tuwaffa, meaning paid back. You will be paid back in full. That is what tuwaffa meaning. You'll be paid back in full. Ma kasabat, what you earned. Okay? So you're talking about money, you're talking about this, you're talking about good deeds, عملوا الصالحات وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة. All of this now. It's a matter of exchange. So there is no injustice will come to you. Everything that you did, you'll be paid for it. But you'll be paid for it from the one that you will never be able to pay for the gifts that Allah gives you. Never be able to do that. But you'll be able to follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, right? There is a difference between you responding to a command and you are appreciating a gift, right? You responding to a command, you can do that to the best of your ability. Allah is telling you, do this and don't do that. That is a command. Responding to it. This will be tuwaffa lakum, right? Tuwaffa lana. Okay? But then a gift that you are getting, you appreciate it now. Because a gift, that means it's something extra. And it's extra here is everything that we are involved in, everything that we are in, everything of who we are. It is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is, you could never pay for that. You could never pay fully for that. You can try and keep trying. And you tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will not be able to pay for this. And please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept and multiply this, because I cannot do, justice to this, what you are giving me, Ya Allah. We cannot say, Allah, judge me with justice here. If we are judged with justice, we are all going to enter into hellfire. Okay? But we are judged by the fadl of Allah, the love and the gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on us. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. How long do we have?
10 minutes.
Okay. If you would like to make any comments, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just a quick one. Like if I give my friend who borrows money today from me $100, and he is supposed to give me $100 back, but for any reason, say he could not give me $100, he went to Bangladesh and he can pay me equal to $100, whatever money. But the time he took $100 from me, maybe the valuation was, less, now increased. So should he give me current rate? It's between me and him. We can work that out, but what would be the right way to handle this? You understand my question?
Yes. The value of the money became different.
Yes.
It changed.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, like same question I have. Like some people took money like 25 years ago.
Yes.
Well, maybe it is very less money.
Mhm.
And now they are getting that less money that has no value now.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, how to deal?
Yes. No, you give the value.
Current value.
Yes. You give the value. The purchasing power.
Which current value? 20 years back value or today's value?
Today's value.
Because he is supposed to give $100 back, but
Yeah.
for any reason he cannot. So the best is to give the current rate, but if he cannot pay, then between him and me, we can
That is the issue also, yes. And also the burden is on him so much now. Okay, yes. Yeah.
Sheikh, it is literally like in Pakistan. Dollar used to be about 3 rupees,
Mm-hmm.
and today it is close to 300 rupees.
Mm-hmm.
So, suppose I gave money to someone when dollar was 10 rupees,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave him 10,000 rupees,
Mm-hmm.
and it is $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gives me back 10,000 rupees, so how do I handle that? Or say, yes, it's okay, just keep it.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So it happened to me
Yes?
in 76. I gave someone 8,000 rupees,
Mm-hmm.
and I went back to Pakistan 2006. He said, I owe you 8,000 rupees. Here your 8,000 rupees are. And I was, what can I do with this now?
Yeah.
So I did not say anything. I said, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have,
Yeah.
but the relationship was kind of, I cannot say keep it.
Yeah.
So he will feel bad.
Yes.
He's taking his burden off, and I say, don't take the burden off.
Yeah.
He may put
Yeah,
some more
yeah,
burden on.
yeah. I had a question that was the other way around. Okay, it was the other way around. A brother was coming, telling me that he discovered, okay, back home, his father, okay, had, borrowed money, okay, from someone and did not pay it back. And he investigated because the person wants his money back. And he investigated and so forth. And it is true. They found witnesses and all of that there was an amount. And it was his father died, and it was years ago. Okay, the inheritance was a long time ago. But they finally found out, that he is here in the United States and so forth. And the man says, if you can pay me the money back. Now he's going to give him $10 worth, So he said, I feel bad. What is it, so yeah. So now he can give more, right? Yeah. Because the value there now is nothing.
Sheikh, if it happens, like in Pakistan, somebody says me, give me this amount of money. And I know after when he's going to pay me back, it will be nothing.
Yes.
So can I say, I am giving you so many rupees, but it is so many dollars,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually
Mm-hmm.
so many rupees equal to so many dollars. So I tell him, it is so many dollars I'm giving you. So when you give me back, you give me back so many dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Or
Si-
the money has to be where the transaction being taken place. It is everywhere in subcontinent, in Eastern, in Asiatic, African countries. It is same thing. I mean, like Nara used to be. My brother was he was professor there. It was 1 Nara equal to $2. And today Nara is about 1,000 Nara, dollars, about 1,000 Naras or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sorry, Nigerian currency. Nigerian currency, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So can you say I'm giving you so many dollars? So you give me back so many dollars?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Or depend nothing.
ولا تنسوا الفضل بينكم.
Sorry?
Do not forget the fadl among you.
Yeah.
Okay? Actually, the principle here is you can actually give more than what you borrowed. Okay? You can actually give more than what you borrowed. And it's encouraged, but not in the contract. You understand? If somebody give you money and borrowed money, and then after a time you return it back and you appreciate he's given you, you can give him more than what he gave you. Okay? Or you can give him a gift with what, okay? That's riba al-fadl. Okay? Like this is a fadl that he gave you and you're giving him. Okay? So that is not, that is recommended to encourage, it's encouraged to do. So it goes for both sides now. If one side is incapable, okay, and the matter is difficult, you can either let go of some or even give him more. Wallahu a'lam. Yes.
Nowadays, we live in present time. You have to put your money, if you have extra, in the bank, and there is interest. So that interest comes, you don't give it to bank back. You get an interest money. You have to show, your taxes and everything also. And also, can you donate that interest money? Because that's not a good money to donate for Allah's sake. It's not a good charity.
Yeah.
But what do you do with that? Do you throw it away?
Okay. The haram is in the contract itself. Okay? It begins with the contract itself. So if you have a contract with the bank, first of all, what is the relationship between you and the bank?
So you want to keep some money, extra money in your savings account.
No, but this is...
Checking account, there is hardly any interest.
Yes.
You don't worry about it.
But the relationship, it is borrowing. The bank is borrowing money from you. That's what it is. The bank is borrowing money from you. That is a relationship. Okay? And he's going to pay you back more than what he took from you. That is riba. That's a contract of riba. Now, you can put all your money in the checking account. What's wrong with that? Okay? And don't get riba at all, and do not get involved with a contract that has riba in it. Okay? Just put all your money in a no interest account, and all the banks have no interest account. They would love that. Okay? So that is...
But some
that
of
is...
the opinion scholars give the opinion that if you get the interest from the bank,
that is the second part of the question, which is what now you found out. Now you found out that you should not do this, right? Then you take your money and put it in a no interest account, but you have money in it that you took it in riba. What do you do with that money? Then give it within, in charity, but do not expect any reward from it. There is no reward that comes from it. So you just give it in charity. Give it in the masjid and let them spend it in the plumbing and this and that, or cutting the grass or something. You can give it the masjid with the intention of specification to do not with any kind of education or any kind of building, or it just in some other activities, in cutting the grass or doing the plumbing or something like that, and, But this not counted from the zakah money, of course, and it is no expectation of reward from it. Wallahu a'lam.
zakat is a different thing.
Yeah, wallahu
But
a'lam.
this interest money, if you have some, when you calculate your you know, your zakat and there is some interest money.
Yeah, yeah, but remember this question has two parts. Part is one, found out that this is riba, and then take the money and put it in a place where it does not have riba. Then the riba money is the second part is what to do with that riba money. But because the contract is there and should not be there. The only contract that is the scholars giving a little bit of leeway in it is the credit cards. Because the credit card is a contract, is a riba contract, right? You signing actually a contract with a credit card company saying that, you know, they're going to, you know, I'm going to pay interest on this in the time if I do not. Actually, you borrow money, you spend the money that you do not have, and they're going to pay it for you, and then you're going to pay them back with interest. That is a riba contract. However, if it is the difficulties in matters here and so forth, it needs that you need that card to be able to make the life easy here. Okay, then there is a leeway in there, provided that that you pay the whole amount of whatever it is that you spend on without getting involved in interest period. Monthly is paid for the whole thing. And nowadays you have a cash card that solves the credit card issue. So you can just get cash out of your card immediately. Wallahu a'lam.
So can you give it to the non-Muslims, the interest?
You can. Yeah.
What is
What is that? Do what?
No, your interest money
Yeah.
as a charity, if you want to give it, is it better to give it to non-Muslims who are deserving than, you know, giving it to Muslims? Because
Some people do, they take that kind of money, which is not good, and give it to the masjid and say, with my this donation, only buy bathroom supplies.
Yes.
I think the main thing is here, like, the intention should be, don't expect any
yeah,
reward.
that's a message. That's what
Yes,
we should
alhamdulillah.
say. Without expecting any rewards
Yes.
for this charity, you give it away.
Yes.
Rather than give it back to bank, you know.
No, absolutely. I have seen in Bangladesh, like, bag of money, right in front of, somebody left it in front of the masjid. After Fajr prayer, it's like maybe 1 crore or something. Oh no, 1 lakh, whatever.
Yeah.
Which is about $1,000 approximately. Right in front of the masjid. And then all the beggars, they just took it, you know? So that was one way I seen people leave their money. Because, and I figured that out, it was probably interest money or something. I don't know.
So it's better that you said that the half part of it, like once we know, let's shift the money from that account to this account, and there's no worry after it.
Yes.
But the
And go to sleep nicely.
Yeah, there's no worry, no question.
Yes.
the question is, bank, when you're putting money in saving account in bank, is bank really borrowing it?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Because the money is sitting there, you can just take it whenever you want. They don't have the restriction that you gave it to me, now it's mine, I'll give it back to you.
That is the one condition of borrowing. I'll take the money from you, and you give me the right to use it. Okay, but when you ask for it, I'll give it back to you.
That's why they give very little interest.
Yeah.
But there is, I don't think they put that condition. So you have the saving account, you can go right now and take everything out. So
Yes, well, that is the condition. The condition is I'm going to be using it until the time you want it, and I'll give it all to you, back to you. Yeah.
The only difference is in savings, you earn interest because there is a little bit higher rate or whatever they calculate. But if it's a checking, it's very, very low, then as the Sheikh mentioned, that you can also say that I don't want interest.
See, and within this contract, when you put the savings, it is yearly. If you're going to take money out of it, you don't get interest on it, right? So they're making sure that the money that the interest they're going to give you is on money that you used, right? And that is within the deal, the contract you have with. Yeah. What I'm saying is, in order to find out the halal and haram, you have to put it in a category. What is this relationship? What is this? Are we buying and selling something, or are we borrowing? Or this? You put it in the category, and this is the category that you put it in. That's borrowing, because actually, it is not. It is not. You're not giving it to them. You're not giving it to them for safekeeping. Right? If you give me money for safekeeping, I'll put it in a safe place, and I'm not allowed to use it. Right? Meaning I'm keeping something safe for you. When you come back to me, I'll give it back to you. Yeah, that's not what the bank is doing.
They're using all money.
You're using it. Mm-hmm.
So, Sheikh, a serious question. So, when we'll take the breakfast, we'll discuss about the mortgage.
Ouch.
That's the difficult. We are,
So-
most of the people are involved,
Yes.
even we don't
Okay.
want it.
Okay.
But still,
Okay. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Especially is the field that you are in, right? No, it's not in my pocket.